My new snowshoes were just delivered, and holy smokes, that's a big box. They were delivered in an absolutely huge box. I hope that's indicative of how big they are and how likely they are to keep me up on top of the snow. I got up at 6:15 a.m., which for me is stupid early, to rematch today with the mountain. But I'm a little bit better prepared. So I'm ready to go. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 7:01.
And it's 7:01. So I will see you at the trail. It's about 7:30 a.m. and I'm just headed out. So if you watched the last video, you saw my miserable failure, which was not getting to the top of the mountain. Well, in the last week, I acquired much larger snowshoes. So I went online to this company called GV. It's a Canadian company, and they sell a pair that is 42 inches long by 12 inches wide. So the other ones were 36 inches long with the tail by 10 inches wide. So I picked up a pair. It was delivered yesterday. I still haven't tried them. And I'm gonna go up to Guaje Ridge and try to get through the snow. So it's a crisp morning, about 22 degrees, and hopefully the snow is frozen pretty good up there, and these ones are big enough. I won't be filming anything on the way up because I just want to get there, and you already saw it all in the last video. But I will be with you when I get to the top of the ridge. So see you in a couple hours. Well, I reached the saddle, and it's been about 1 hour, 8 minutes. In that 1 hour, 8 minutes, we went 1.8 miles and up about 900 feet. So we're not doing too bad. At this rate, we'll reach the Guaje Canyon Ridge Trail in probably another 35, 40 minutes. So we'll check in then. I've been hiking for 1 hour and 43 minutes, and I just made the top of the Guaje Ridge. So now, this is where I didn't make it last time very far because the snowshoes were inadequate. So we're gonna go ahead and try these new ones and see if they do any better. And oh, I hope they do, because I don't know how many times I can come up here to try this. But oh, another beautiful day. It's a little windy, not too bad. I'm gonna sit here, take some drinks, and then maybe stay here for 10 minutes. It's 9:30 a.m. Last time I started at the bottom at 11, so I'm doing really well. Last time I got to this point at probably about 1:30. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some drinks, take a break, and then hopefully head toward the top. We'll keep you updated. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have our answer. These snowshoes offer far superior flotation. Look at how I'm sinking quite as far. The thing is, they're a little bit slipperier. It almost feels like walking on wide skis. And here, sliding down becomes a little more consequential, but I'll tell you what, I'm happy right now. And here, sliding down becomes a little more consequential, but I'll tell you what, I'm happy right now. I think it's windier than hell back here, but I'm gonna get up there and then maybe duck in and maybe warm up. So I'll catch up with you when we're close to the top. Okay, this is gonna make it a lot easier. The snow's pretty deep and I'm sliding on these big snowshoes. They're like giant skis. And it's pretty steep here. And He's having a tough time staying on the side of the mountain. Oh, it's windier than hell. But I'm gonna plug a little while longer and see if I can get somewhere where it's less windy maybe. I know the wind dies down a little bit ahead. I don't know if I'm gonna get up there. We might have had another failure, ladies and gentlemen, even with bigger snowshoes. Energy, sheer strength might be what prevents us from getting up there today. So we'll check in a bit. As I get higher, it gets windier and windier. And it's cold. And look at behind me. So there's a slope, and it's pretty significant. I keep having to hit my belly to prevent going down it. So I think this is where I decide that instead of dying up here or down there in the canyon, I think I'll turn around, go home, and formulate a different plan for possibly this afternoon or something. This is not working. It's not working. The snowshoes are like giant skis, which is they stay on top nice, but unfortunately that means they also slide nice. And sliding, I've heard that they're very good. Actually, the reviews say they're very good on flat. I don't know why I thought they could do this, but man, I'm trying things at this point. You know, I gotta figure out a way to get a winter activity that I enjoy. So I think I'm gonna. This is where I turn around, go back the way I came in. See behind me. Back to that ridge line, back there, and then down and out. So, see you in a bit. Well, we were around this ridge, and this wind was blowing. I don't know if you could hear it, but it was howling up there, and you can hear it from here howling around the corner. But where I'm standing now, it's dead still. But well, I'm thinking here, we'll go down there to the intersection. We might take that ridge line out over there out. So that's Guaje Trail. And back down to Los Alamos, because I really don't want to go back the same way I came in again. I just don't like doing the same trails, you know, 10 times over, because then you get sick of the same trails and they start to feel long the next time you do them. So, but yeah, about 100 yards that way, the wind's howling. Here, nothing. I think once you get behind this knoll. All right, let's get down and out of here. Okay, so that was interesting. About 200 feet of elevation gain, and probably walked maybe a quarter mile, and that was the situation up there. So it was definitely not gonna treat me very well. My fingers were already freezing, and it was pretty windy. Probably sustained 30 mile an hour winds. So now I think I'm just gonna go down the Guaje Ridge Trail instead of up. And so down, I can go back into Los Alamos. It'll be a little 6-mile loop on the edges of this side of the mountain, but the mountains always goes down and is less exposed. That side of the mountain, it goes up and is pretty exposed. So that's the plan. I'm gonna sit here for a couple more minutes, get another drink of water, and then head down the other trail. You can see Sandia Crest way out there in the distance. So that's probably 80 to 100 miles from where we're standing. So that's a long ways out, but we came from right down. That's probably 80 to 100 miles from where we're standing. So that's a long ways out, but we came from right down there in town. And I'm going to take the same trail down again because I know I can do it quickly. I can get back in time to run to Santa Fe, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do an Amazon return on these snowshoes. So I'll just go ahead and bring them right back to the UPS store and get my $289 back. I will say that they're amazing snowshoes, just not for this purpose, but for big guys staying on top. I think if you're on a lake or level, they would make complete sense. At that point though, there's probably lighter options like super old-fashioned snowshoes, which have absolutely excellent flotation. but also zero grip. These ones, the grip actually does help for gradual uphills, but honestly, the gradient that is required to ascend here is not a happening thing on these, because you're just on giant skis. So I'm going to take them back. They won't work for my purpose, or I'll send them back through the UPS store, and then I can have my $289 back, and maybe I'll go to REI and blow it on something. I don't know. Well, I guess one could say I failed again, but honestly, I didn't fail, because the whole objective of this exercise is not to get to the top of the mountain, right? That's just the goal for the individual day. But the objective is to use different snowshoes to figure out which ones work the best in these conditions. Because I've never owned snowshoes before, and you can only sit and couch surf for so long, or couch shop for so long, before you realize that you're looking at reviews with conflicting information and people with different viewpoints and people with different experiences, and they all have different opinions of how well some equipment works. So at the end of the day, all you really can do is go buy the equipment and try it. And so that's what I'm doing here. This is what I will say is the extreme of what I will ever want to use these snowshoes for, okay? I'll never want to go snowshoe up Mount Everest. I'll never want to go snowshoe straight up a cliff or on unstable ground or in avalanche territory. The most extreme thing I can see myself doing is maybe ascending on snowshoes 1,000 feet over the course of a few miles, and that's really about it. And so whatever I decide that I want to use or I want to keep in the snowshoe territory has to be able to do that. And so this is a good way of just taking gear out there, trying it out, seeing if it works for me. If it doesn't work for me, go get my money back and try something else. So at this point, it looks like, I would say, for this territory, the MSR snowshoes, which I brought up last week, win. Because even though they don't have great flotation, I still blame that a bit on my weight, which will hopefully go down. But most importantly, they're smaller and more maneuverable. They have tails, which I love. I love that you can get the extra flotation when you need it, even if it's not sufficient in deep snow up there. And they're lighter. They also have those extra features of the raised bar, which helps you to climb up. So I would say at this point, over these, they're the winner, because these, while they have great flotation, it'll keep me on top of really deep snow, even up there, they slide on much of an incline. Now, they performed a lot better than most people online said they would. So there were a lot of reviews where people said that you can only be on completely flat ground. That's not true. They did actually really well at first, up probably a 10% grade. I would say the 15% grade is where they started to break down. And then at the end there, I was trying to go up probably there, it's closer to 25% for a little ways. And that's where it started to slide and just become giant skis. So these ones, they're the GV wide trails, 42-inch long, 12-inch wide. They're phenomenal for flotation and not so great for grip, especially on any incline whatsoever. And so for that reason, they don't win. The MSRs are still a favorite, but we may still try something else. So in the meantime, I will get to that the point, because something I don't think I mentioned, I probably mentioned it, is that there's another way to get there on mostly south-facing slopes. And so realistically, there's a much easier way of getting there. Not a great way of testing snowshoes, but a much easier way of just achieving the objective of getting to this peak. So since I've tried a couple times and failed, and I really want to succeed, next Friday we'll go up there, but we'll go via Pipeline Road. So we won't take Mitchell Trail to to the ridge, or to the ridge trail, up and then up. We'll just go straight to Pipeline Road. And Pipeline Road, I'll bring the MSR snowshoes in case there is snow, but realistically, the vast majority of that trail you can ascend on slippers. So in other words, I didn't fail today. I succeeded. I learned what doesn't work. I know why it doesn't work. They actually outperformed my expectations and the expectations of several people online. But unfortunately, in mountainous terrain, I think quote-unquote mountaineering snowshoes are absolutely essential so that you're not sliding down the mountain or risking sliding down. And some places back there where the snow is deep, especially, you don't want to slide down, because if I had slid down and, being on my belly, flop to the belly to stop sliding, didn't work. Fortunately, I had to go to my belly about 3 times to try to just to stop from descending, and I ended up right on the trail. That's fine. And getting up wasn't a huge issue. But if you descend too far, down, now you're stuck trying to figure out how to get back up. And obviously, straight up on snowshoes that you're already slipping on when you're going across the mountain isn't going to work. And taking off the snowshoes and then walking up probably isn't going to work because it's so deep. So at that point, I feel you're just kind of hoping that your cell phone works and that you can get assistance in getting the hell out of there. But so, lesson learned. These are going to go back once I get down. And Amazon has an amazing return policy. You just bring your stuff to UPS store. It doesn't have to be in a box. It doesn't need tags. And they'll package it up for you and ship it away. So I do love that because I live in a studio apartment, so I don't keep boxes. I throw them away right away. But I will say I kind of do like these large snowshoes in that I feel I kind of look badass. So I just walked by someone up there and I was descending, as he was just sitting on a log, and I felt pretty cool because I got these giant ass snowshoes. It looks like I really know what I'm doing, when really I have giant ass snowshoes because I'm trying to learn what I'm doing. And these snowshoes are comedically big. They're huge. They're huge. And so someone with 8-pound snowshoes that look like they could carry Bigfoot strapped to their bag probably looks a little bit dopey, but the fact that I was coming down from where the snow is, he probably thinks I started that Pipeline Road and made it. But I thought about that. I thought about going to Pipeline Road, going to the top, and then going down because, again, there's no snow, or not a lot of snow to get to the top via Pipeline Road, or not nearly as much snow, I should say. And so I thought about that and then going down on these, but even down was not the easiest thing because of the lack of control once you start sliding. So these snowshoes aren't designed for this. They go back. Brendan learned something. Probably burned another 4,000 calories doing this, which gets him closer to the objective of those MSR snowshoes doing exactly what I want, which is to maintain control on the slopes while also keeping me on top. And so, all in all, I'm going to call that a victory. So, did I get to where I wanted to go? No. Did the snowshoes perform how I wanted? No. But ultimately, it's been a victorious day. So, all right, I'll catch you when we're at the bottom. So I made it back to the car, and just to give you an idea of how big these snowshoes are, the length is about as wide as my vehicle, and they're 1 foot wide. So you can see why they call them wide trails. You definitely need a very wide trail, and they're not the easiest things to turn around in. But all right, I'm gonna bring them back to Santa Fe. I think that this will end the journey for the day. So I thank you so much for tuning in once again on this second failed mission. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. You know the routine. See you next time.